Alright. Bridge to the Turnabout, Part 3-2, Investigation. This is where we left off, guys. This is where we left off. February 9th, Inner Temple Training Hall. Right. This is what Godot was talking about? Yeah. The trick locks. Now then, Iris, please remove these at once. Mr. Edgeworth? I'm afraid I can't. It's not possible for me. What? During the earthquake, when the cavern was in danger of caving in, Iris escaped, and I know that there was only one lock when I last came here.
So you're saying that you cannot undo the new locks?
Yes. If only I was stronger! Edgeworth, how are you feeling? You look a little pale in the face. Like you're one to talk with your face all green.
Miles Edgeworth, go and get some air. I'll watch over the suspect. You go get a grip on yourself.
Don't be ridiculous! I'm perfect!
There is no telling what sort of mistake you can make in your current state. Well, now go get some rest. That is your only concern now, Miles Edgeworth.
Understood. I'll handle the investigation in the garden. You take care of things here. Edgeworth. He's got so much pride that he's probably off crying in a corner on the garden.
Pride is simply another trap that hinders us in our lives. That said, one must have pride to be effective on the job. At any rate, it seemed that this is where we part ways, Phoenix Wright. I am going to stay here and see if I can't help solve these bothersome puzzles.
I see. Well, thanks for your help. Now then, do you mind if I ask you a few things, Iris?
No, not at all.
Why did you make a run for it, Iris? I'm sorry. I heard the Inner Temple had been severely shaken by the strong earthquake that we had. I was so worried. I just had to come and see.
In other words, you did not run away to escape the law. At least we are clear on that.
I can't tell you how relieved I was when I saw the sacred cavern was all right, but...
But what?
Then I saw these chains here. I saw all these extra locks that someone had put on the sacred cavern's door, and... Who in the world would have done something like this? These trick locks are a sacred treasure of the Korean tradition. There are hundreds of ways to set them. That's why only the person who set the lock can open it.
And you aren't the only one who can set these locks?
I don't think it's that simple, Franziska von Karma. When we were here the first time, there was only one lock. But now, somehow, there's 5 of them.
What does that mean?
It means that someone wanted to secure this place even more, and they wanted to secure it before you got here, Iris. Presumably because they wanted to make sure Maya couldn't get out. That means that Iris can only open one of these locks. The first one. Yes, that's correct.
What?
Iris, try to think, please. Isn't there any way around this? Well, like I said, there are hundreds of different ways to set these locks. I suppose if I went through every combination with each one, I could remove them, but...
It will take time, won't it?
Yes, about a day if I had to guess. A whole day?!
Well, that is better than leaving the locks in place. Will you do this for us?
Sure, I'll do whatever I can. We've got to wait around another day? Oh, hang in there, Maya. You're gonna have to call on your inner strength now. You know what, Iris? There's still one thing I don't quite get.
And what might that be, Phoenix Wright?
I think it's obvious. Iris, on the night of the murder, where were you? Please, Iris, don't give me that look. You told us you were in your room at Hazakura Temple on the night of the incident, but you were seen the same evening at the Inner Temple. And then, you were spotted at the scene of the crime in Hazakura Temple too.
Being spotted at both Hazakura Temple and the Inner Temple. It's as if you were...
Well, Iris, I think it's about time you told us the truth. Oh, honey setting some locks herself. I knew it. There's something going on here that we don't know about. Let's see if I have enough to break this lock right away. The night of the crime. I think it's time you told the truth about what you were doing on that night. You said you were in your room at Hazakura Temple the entire time. Do you still claim that to be the truth? Yes, that's where I was. Iris, I believe you're innocent. That's why I want to believe what you're telling me too, but I can't. Because this person saw you somewhere else on the night of the murder. I'm talking about Sister Bikini, of course. Sister Bikini? Her testimony in court today was very clear.
That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte, and I returned to Hazakura Temple.
Sister Bikini didn't just see you, she spoke with you. You two talked about Maya's training that night, so you see, Iris. You were there at the inner temple on the night of the murder. That's very impressive, Mr. Wright. The acolyte's actual training was due to start after 10 o'clock that night. I left the main hall early so I wouldn't be late. What time was that? Let me see. It takes about 20 minutes to walk between the main hall and the inner temple, so I would have left at about 9:40, I think. I'm sorry, Iris, but lying just doesn't suit you. Huh? Now, you can say you left the main hall at 9:40, but what you say doesn't add up with this! I don't know, No, because she had to ring the lights out bell at 10, but I don't have any like, record or evidence of that. Oh, right here. Rang the lights out bell at 10 p.m. and then was in her room until the murder took place. You yourself testified to the contrary, don't you remember? You said that you rang the lights out bell at 10 o'clock that night. Oh. Plus, only moments before you rang that bell, you were seen at the main hall by the most reliable witness I have. Who's that? Me. Mr. Wright. We even spoke a little that evening. That's when you gave me this. Surely you haven't forgotten. No, that's right. I remember. And that brings us to another puzzling fact, Iris. At 10 o'clock on the night of the murder, you were seen in 2 different places at the same time. It's time you told me exactly what's been going on, Iris. So far, I've managed to prove 2 things. First, on the night of the incident, you were at the inner temple. And second, at the exact same time, you were ringing the bell at Hazakura Temple. There's only one possible explanation for this apparent impossibility. I want to say there were 2 of you. On the night of the incident, you were seen in 2 different places at the same time, which means there must have been 2 of you. I can't think of any other explanation, Iris. But that's crazy. How could that be? There's only one of me. It's impossible. Impossible? I wonder. The way you're trembling certainly seems to suggest otherwise. You're seriously trying to suggest there's more than one of me? Then show me the evidence! Show me something that proves there's more than one of me! Okay, now I bullshitted my way that far. I can't do any more. Oh my god, Kage Bunshi no Jitsu. Shut up, Seraph. We got a regular Naruto on our hands over here, guys. Alright. I think we gotta get some conclusive evidence before we can prove that last bit. Let's go talk to Edgeworth. The cops are still combing the place. They look pretty nervous. I'd be nervous too. It's got to be a tough job. Especially with someone giving you the evil eye the whole time. How could I have done that? Wow, I can't believe it's still bothering him. Edgeworth? Ugh! Hey, don't you dare run away! What do you want, Wright? What do I want? I want you to come here and laugh at me and then get on with it. Oh, if you came here to laugh at me, then get on with it. Go on, laugh away. I was ready to hug it out with him, but he's just the same prideful Edgeworth. You went back to the Criminal Affairs Department, right? You said you wanted to look into something concerning Iris. Yes. And thanks to what I found, I was reminded of something terrible. Oh, he definitely looked up the old case, his first case. You guys are putting a lot of effort into the investigation of the garden here, huh? There's a high chance that this is the actual scene of the crime. That's why. You mean because of the writing in blood and the talisman in the snow? Exactly. As you know, those things couldn't have been planted here after the murder. But surely, you don't suspect Maya, do you? We have to treat everyone as a suspect. Maya, as well as Iris. It's our job, right? So, I guess you still haven't gotten over your fear of earthquakes. TLDR, for everyone who doesn't understand Edgeworth's fear of earthquakes, in the first game final case, I guess with minus the bonus case, an earthquake happened while Edgeworth was a kid in an elevator with his dad. And his dad was killed in that elevator. And yeah, that's why he hates earthquakes. No, thankfully my nightmares have stopped. But still, if the ground gives even the slightest tremor, I find myself short of breath. 17 years ago, when we were little school kids at the same elementary school, Edgeworth found himself in the middle of a murder. It all started with that big quake that hit the courthouse. Yeah, I was stuck in the elevator with my father, who was a defense lawyer. We were deprived of oxygen and we passed out. That's when it happened. That single gunshot shattered my whole life. I lost everything that day, all because of that earthquake. My dreams, my family, and myself. It's been more than 17 years now, and that case was finally resolved 3 years ago, right? You think I don't know that? I was there! But it was such a shock. I never imagined I could be so wrong about myself and my life. I'm sorry, Wright. There's nothing else I can say. Not after you chose to become a lawyer for my sake. And not after you saved me. Edgeworth, you're stronger than you think. So no more of this self-pity, okay? The bromance between these two. There was something that bothered me about her from the moment that we met. I felt like I had seen her somewhere before. No, wait. Not somewhere. I felt like I'd seen her in court before. So you went back to the Criminal Affairs Department to look for her file? Yes. I checked over every case file I'd ever worked on, and I was right. I had seen her face before, 6 years ago. 6 years ago? It was my first appearance in court. And as cases go, it was my worst nightmare. So, who is she? I'm sorry, Wright. I can't give that information away to a member of the general public. What? Why not? It might be the crucial piece of this puzzle that solves the case! The woman I knew was the daughter of a jewelry store owner. She had nothing to do with Iris and Hazakura Temple. And neither did the case. No. That woman is completely unrelated to this murder. Unrelated? Yes. I can say that with complete confidence. You're wrong, Edgeworth. She's totally related to this case. I need to fill Edgeworth in. I need to explain the connection between Iris and the woman Edgeworth knew. Maybe I can present profiles here? Apparently, Iris was taken in by the sisters here at the temple when she was a child. However, we still don't know much about her past, so we're looking into it. That reminds me, Edgeworth went back to the Criminal Affairs Department to look up some stuff on her. I should ask him about what he found. But he won't tell me, and I don't know how to dig it out of him. Maybe I have to present Dahlia literally Dahlia Hawthorne's profile and not Iris's. Maybe I have to, get more evidence to do this. Let's ask him about some of this other evidence we have, because we haven't gotten much about this sphere. Nah, nothing right now. Okay, how about Larry's sketch? Get that piece of filth out of my face! You're still mad, huh, Edgeworth? I know a thing or two about Larry Butts, just like you. We both know he likes to act up, but this, even he couldn't make something like this up. If this is what he drew, then this is what he saw. As unbelievable as it may seem, I know, that's what I think too. Every single time I see that guy, he's in it up to his neck. I knew it. Edgeworth's still mad as a hornet at Larry. Alright, crime photo, tracks photo, Iris's testimony, Elise's autopsy report, victim's staff. Maybe I can talk about the real name being Misty. Another victim we know nothing about, same as always. I hope you'll tell me if you know something about our mysterious woman, Wright. I know that Elise Dunim was no ordinary visitor to the temple, but her true identity could be a useful weapon for the defense, and I can't give that away just like that. Alright, well then let's leave, because I'm convinced there's nothing else to talk about here. Inner Temple Gate. February 9th, Inner Temple Gate. I'm finally getting to the bottom of this case. I can count on Iris to break these locks, so I should try to gather more clues. From Sister Bikini, Edgeworth, Gumshoe, and Pearls. Yeah, Pearl I haven't talked to at all yet. I gotta find her, though. February 9th, Dusky Bridge. It's weird that there's no one around all of a sudden. It sure gets quiet up here in the mountains when you're on your own. Guess I should go check out the shack down this path. Maybe I'll find Larry down there sulking again. Well, I don't need any other hint than that.
Oh, Mr. Nick!
Pearls! What are you doing here?
Nothing. What about Mystic Maya? Is she alright?
We don't know yet.
Oh, I see.
Hey, what do you think you're doing here, Nick? Larry. This is the Losers' Shack, where losers get together and lose themselves. This is the what? Hey, we find comfort in each other's failures, okay? You got a problem with that?
Look, Mr. Nick. Mr. Lee Reese did a picture of me.
That's, great, Pearls. We're going to gather firewood now. We'll be cooking some half-rotten potatoes over a miserable little campfire. So stay out of our way. I don't believe this. Why can't he try getting fired up over becoming a better man? No one believes a word I say anymore. Listen to me, Pearl. You don't want to trust this kind of guy, okay? He'll only let you down.
Oh, Mystic Maya.
I wish Larry would just leave, dude. Larry, is there something you want to tell me about this picture? Heh, I got nothing to say to you, Nick. My life's here now, with Pearl. Two losers cooking potatoes together forevermore. What am I going to do with him? Alright then, what do you think about this picture, Pearls?
I think it's really well drawn. I can't draw at all, so I think it's really amazing.
See, someone appreciates it. It's tough getting that flame to look like that, you know?
It's supposed to be Sister Iris flying through the air, isn't it? I love it. It's like a dream. A wonderful fantasy.
No, it wasn't a dream. She really flew.
I'm telling you, Iris really flew that night. But, Mr. Larice...
Not you too. Please don't look at me with like that, Pearl. Don't look at me like I'm some kind of nuisance. I beg of you. I guess this picture really is a representation of what Larry thinks he saw.
Okay, so I was half asleep when I was here that night. But I was wide awake after the lightning struck. And I saw what I saw. It was exactly like I drew it into picture.
And it looks like I don't have any choice but to take this sketch at face value.
Hey, what's with that look of doubt on your face?
I'm still convinced the picture's upside down.
Pearls?
Yes, Mr. Nick? I've been meaning to ask you about the night of the murder. Where were you, and what exactly were you doing when it all happened?
I'm just a kid, you know? I'm sure it doesn't really matter what I was doing, right, Mr. Nick?
Sorry, Pearls, but yes, it does. On the night of the murder, You were supposed to be in Miss Dunim's room reading a book together, but Miss Dunim was murdered, and you, Pearls, were at the Inner Temple. Just what exactly happened that night, Pearls? I'm really sorry, Mr. Nick. No, not Pearls! You can't psych lock me, Pearls. I've been a bad girl. I know I'll be punished. What are you talking about, Pearls? My spiritual power. It's disappeared. What? Her powers have disappeared? What do you mean your powers have disappeared, Pearls? It's all over for me. A spirit medium who can't channel spirits is like a painter who can't paint. Hey, what are you looking at me for? Pearls, did you try to channel someone's spirit right here at Hazakura Temple? Tried but failed, perhaps? I wish I could do a better cry. Way to go, Nick. You made a cry. That was really cruel of you. It's just as I thought. I'm going to have to break her psych lock to get the truth out of her. I feel like I won't be able to break the lock yet. They always give you the lock, but they never let you break it right away. After dinner on the night of the murder, you were supposed to be in Elise Dunim's room reading a book together, correct? Yes, I was so happy when she invited me, but I didn't go in the end. You didn't go? No, there was somewhere else I had to go instead. I was so worried, I had to go. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so nervous. So Pearls never went to Miss Dunim's room because she was too worried about something or someone else. Pearls. On the night of the murder, you went to this place, didn't you? It has to be the Inner Temple, right? You went here, didn't you, Pearls? Looks like she's still not going to open up to me. This is where you went because you were so worried, right? Then the next question is, who or what were you so worried about? Now I'm going to take a guess, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. You mean you know? If I'm right, will you tell me the whole truth? Okay. You went to this place for one very simple reason, and that is this. It's obvious what you were so worried about, Pearls. It was Maya, wasn't it? You knew that the training Maya was undertaking was dangerous. After all, it was the special course. I signed up for your special course.
Well, my, quite brave of you considering how cold it is. Young people can be so reckless with their health. Don't blame me if you become one with those you channel. Wow!
Sister Bikini scared you with what she said, didn't she? And because it was you who introduced Hazakura Temple to Maya in the first place, you felt responsible, didn't you? Thinking about what could happen to Mystic Maya made me more and more worried. I couldn't sit still at all. That's why I decided to go and find out how she was doing in the Inner Temple. Then we're clear now that you went to the Inner Temple that night, Pearls. What's not clear is what happened after that. About what time was it when you headed over to the Inner Temple? It was probably around 9:30 when I left the main hall. I heard the real training was supposed to start at 10. I wanted to get there before it started, but there was so much snow I didn't get there until after 10 o'clock. Until after 10? How did you know what time it was? Because I heard the bell ringing for lights out. She heard the lights out bell? The Hazakura Temple bell's pretty small though, isn't it? You must have really good hearing. I was really trying to pick up the sound of that bell, that's all. I didn't want to miss it. That would be terrible. She was trying to hear the bell? Tell me, Pearls, why were you so worried about hearing the bell? Huh? Oh, I think I know why. The reason why you were so worried about that bell was because of this. I think it's because of Elise Dunim, but I'm not sure. I definitely want to get more evidence before I can come back and try and break in the rest of these locks. That's going to be a tough lock to smash. Let's go check out the main hall. We got to gather whatever other evidence we can right now. I wonder if Sister Bikini has gone back to the main hall already. I haven't seen Gumshoe around for a while either. Maybe they're having a cup of tea together or somewhere. I bet Gumshoe is Sister Bikini's type. She's shaking. She's shook, fam.
Well, what's the damage? How is the sacred cavern?
Looks like it's survived, but we have a bigger problem now. I told Sister Bikini all about it. About the 5 locks that were stopping us from getting inside the sacred cavern.
But who? Who could have done that? The only people who know how to set those trick locks are those of the Karain tradition.
We have Iris at the Sacred Cavern trying her best to open them for us right now. Actually, there's something I've been meaning to talk with you about, Sister Bikini.
Oh, yes. We were in the middle of a chat, weren't we?
Yes, you were telling me how the Master of Karain disappeared 17 years ago. I want to know why Misty Face suddenly appeared at this temple.
It was about a week ago when Mystic Elise... No, I mean Mystic Misty arrived. After she showed me the talisman that proved she was the master, she said...
Someone is trying to destroy the Karain tradition's main family line. I am here to put a stop to that. Someone was trying to destroy the main family line?
There is only one heir to the title of master at any time, and it's usually the eldest. That child becomes the new master of Karain, and her daughters the main family. All other mediums become branch family members with no hope of controlling the clan. That's why nothing has changed throughout the history of the clan. Branch family always have and always will plot to erase those of the main family line.
Is the power of the master worth that much bloodshed?
You believe in the technique, don't you, Mr. Wright? You know its power is real.
Yeah, I do. It's been 3 years since I first met Maya. In that time, I've seen her channel the spirits of the dead plenty of times. During the Masque de Masque case, and during Maggie Bird's trial, too. Thanks to Maya, Mia's always on hand to help me out when I need her the most.
The Karain technique has made a huge difference to the world, you know? I mean, the ability to commune with the dead. That's true psychic power, you know. Members of the tradition have always been there, behind every important leader. Who wouldn't respect such a tremendous skill?
I suppose so, but with all that power and influence, I kind of expected you'd be really rich by now.
Are you saying we're poor, Mr. Wright? Ho ho ho! You're very direct, aren't you? People don't believe in it anymore, you see. All because of one little mistake.
A mistake? What mistake?
It was 17 years ago. That's when everything came crashing down. All because of that incident.
That incident? Is she talking about what I think she is?
I am sure the records still exist if you're interested. Locked up, of course.
It was called the DL6 incident!
That's the name of the file.
The DL6 incident, huh? It all comes back, baby. The DL6 incident. I know it well. I handled a related case just 3 years ago.
Ah, that's right. So it was you who was the defense attorney on that case.
A murder that took place 17 years ago. It was the first time in the country's history the police ever used a spirit medium. The idea was to channel the victim's spirit to learn the identity of the murderer, and the medium who performed the channeling was Misty Faye, Maya's mother. Through Mystic Misty's channeling, the name of a certain man surfaced. Armed with that as evidence, the investigators were spurred into action. But that man, he was found not guilty, wasn't he? That's right, he was...
And then the case remained a mystery. In other words, we failed. It was the first case the world had ever seen the Karain tradition openly involved in. It was all over the media. The public, the judiciary, the people of the Korean village. Everyone judged her. Everyone said Mystic Misty's powers were a sham. And then she just disappeared. Vanquished while everyone still thought of her as a fraud.
But I know the truth! Misty Faye's spirit channeling wasn't a sham at all.
Of course it wasn't. And since you managed to reveal the truth, we're finally making a comeback. The Korean tradition is starting to recover at last. But with a new master wielding the power of the clan.
Does she mean Maya?
The spiritual power of the Korean channeling technique is in the blood.
Maya told me the exact same thing before. We, the women of the Faye family, have always been spirit mediums. It's because the power to communicate the spirits flows strongly through us. Only the women inherit it.
The main family's bloodline stems directly from Mystic Amy. But with each new generation, only one daughter becomes the new master.
And the ones who don't become the branch families, right?
That's right. And it's always the cause of tragedy.
You know, Maya had a sister too. An older sister named Mia.
Oh yes, I've heard of her.
What? You knew about Mia?
Of course. She became a lawyer in hopes of discovering what happened to her mother.
And lost her life as a result.
Do you know what Mystic Mia is rumored to have said? She said it wasn't only because of her mother that she became a lawyer. She also didn't want to fight with her sister over the leadership of the tradition.
Really?
Well, she saw what happened to her own mother, Mystic Misty, as she grew up. I guess Mystic Mia got tired of seeing all the rivalry between her mother and her aunt.
That's right. Misty Faye had an elder sister too. And Misty, having superior powers, managed to usurp the master seat from her.
Mystic Misty's sister is Mystic Morgan, as you probably know.
She's in jail. Morgan? That's a name I know well. It was a year ago now at the Maya's home, Korean Village. What she did was terrible. It was all so she could make her own daughter the next master.
I suppose if you know about Mystic Morgan's daughter, then you must have already realized that Iris...
Huh? Iris? What's Iris got to do with any of this?
That Iris is... Mystic Morgan's daughter?
What? Iris is what? Is she kidding me? Iris is Morgan Faye's daughter? No. No.
I'm so glad you're playing Phoenix Wright again. I love your playthroughs. I got a dip for now cause I wanna binge them all at once on YouTube and don't want to spoil anything. Have a
Yo,
good
I appreciate
stream.
that so much, Norval. I'm so excited to put them all up on YouTube for everyone to enjoy, dude. Thank you so much. Did you just say that Iris is Morgan Faye's daughter?
Oops! I thought you already knew that. It sounded like you had met one of Mystic Morgan's daughters already.
I have. I know her very well.
Oh?
Yes. Pearl Faye. But I always thought she was an only child.
You jest! That child, she's Mystic Morgan's? I had no idea. Mystic Morgan. But she's in prison now, isn't she?
Yeah, ever since she was found to be a co-conspirator in a murder case last year. It was all done to set Pearls up as the next master.
I see. So I've been wrong all this time. Mystic Morgan has 3 daughters, not 2.
What? 3?
Yes, Iris, her twin sister,
And her twin sister? Oh, come on. What? Twin sister?
Oh, didn't you know? It all happened 20 years ago. After the clan leadership was taken from her by her sister, Mystic Morgan's life crumbled. It wasn't many years later that Korean's reputation hit an all-time low. When Mystic Morgan's husband realized that his wife would never become the master, he left.
He left her and the village, taking their twin daughters with him. How awful. He was a jeweler, you know. In the end, he remarried, and that's when it happened. He decided to give one of his girls up to be looked after by us here in the temple. Oh my god! So Dahlia Hawthorne and Iris are two separate people? What? That was Iris, you see. It's unbelievable. If Iris has a twin sister, could it be? Could you tell me one more thing, Sister Bikini? What was the name of Iris's sister? I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I just can't remember. All I recall is that her father was a jeweler. Well, that's a clue, I guess. A jeweler. Thank you very much. You've helped clear up a lot of details. Earls had two older sisters, huh? Yes, that's right. No doubt it was because of Mystic Morgan's anger towards the main family. Anger? What do you mean? Her twin daughters were taken from her by her jeweler husband, but even that couldn't destroy her dream that a child of hers would one day lead the clan. That's why she had pearls? It seemed that the incident here was the result of Mystic Morgan's anger. She was able to break free of the bars that confine her. So Iris has a twin sister. The plot thickens. But this information will be useless unless I can flesh it out a bit. I need to ask more questions and get some more info. Alright, let's peep the courtyard, but I think I have enough to start breaking some locks. Sounds like someone's happy. What tune is that they're humming? Hey, it's my dude, Detective Gumshoe. No motive, no crime. No motive, no crime. Sing it with me now. No motive, no crime. I remember when we used to search in the channeling room in Corain. Whew, I love my job. Who cares if the clues I find are no good? That's not what investigating's all about. The investigator investigates for the love of investigating. It's the passion. Good cases we have, good cases we've lost along the way. I wonder, I would have never guessed that Gumshoe was into reggae. Every case is gonna be airtight. Every case is gonna be airtight. Hey, pal. Huh? Who, me? How long have you been there? I just got here. Oh, okay. So what are you up to? What are you up to, detective? I'm investigating, pal. I made a promise to Mr. Edgeworth. I promised that I would find the real murder weapon. The real murder weapon? The bobbed sword thing turned out to be a false lead, right? I'm giving it my best shot here, but I still haven't turned up any clues. I just found these weird scraps of paper. It looked like a letter or something. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with the case, though. A letter? Give me that letter, dude. So how's the investigation going, Detective Gumshoe? I don't know if I should be telling you, pal, but I guess it can't hurt. Looks like the murder took place in the Inner Temple Garden. And they're taking that bloody writing on the lantern pretty seriously back at HQ. What? You mean... I don't have the details, pal. All I know is if you don't find Maya down in that sacred cavern, we're gonna be faced with one ugly situation. What kind of ugly situation are we looking at here? You got me. I don't know. They're not my words, pal. Then who said it? Mr. Godot. Godot? What did he mean by that? About the letter you found. Don't remind me, pal. I'm busting a gut here trying to find a murder weapon, and all I find is some burnt-up old letter. Burnt-up old letter? Yeah, it was in that incinerator right outside the Inner Temple. The incinerator? I knew it. I knew it wasn't imagining it. The incinerator was freshly used. There was snow on the incinerator when I first saw it, but none after the incident, and it all melted away, which means someone used it on the night of the murder. What's up with you, pal? I got it right here if you want to take a look. Can I? Do you mind? Sure, go nuts. I don't want it, pal. You can have it. It's all spirit mediums and masters and stuff. I bet it's got no relation to the case. Spirit mediums? This guy's an idiot. It's got to be important if it mentions spirit mediums and masters. I'd better give it a good looking over and some serious thought. Make sure you chuck it into trash when you're done. Littering's a crime, pal. I want to check it before I do anything else. Found by Gumshoe in the Inner Temple Incinerator. Touch the check button for details. Okay. Be careful, burn, burn, burn. Once night falls, burn, burn, burn. Should be there, burn, 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 burn. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Leave everything up to her. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Leave everything up to her. Her name is Blank. She is our ally. Blank. The whole blank. Here is a picture of her. Use it when you channel her. I know you can do it. Once this is blank, burn the blank. Also, make blank not blank tell anyone about this letter. Gravely roast the master in the fire of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition. Wow. So, we channeled a dead someone in order to kill Mystic Misty, it looks like. Who did the channeling, though? Was it Pearls? Oh my god, it was Pearls. Oh no. Think about it. Iris probably isn't strong enough to channel. Dahlia Hawthorne might be, but probably not. And Pearls definitely is. And Pearls already mentioned that she was listening for the lights out bell right here. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Oh, but she said she couldn't channel spirits. The plot thickens. So, what do you know about the real murder weapon so far? Well, it wasn't the Shichishito that was found impaled in the victim's body. Mr. Edgewood proved that in court today. Yeah, that's true. In which case, it must have been another blade. And that's what you're running around like a headless chicken looking for now, huh? Yeah, and man, it's all tiring work. But let me tell you something, pal. I'm no chicken. We got the feta of forensics in our cap these days. We're using the department's secret weapon on this. Secret weapon? What's this secret weapon of yours? You wanna know? You gotta think scientifically, okay? Alright. The murder weapon was a sword. Swords are, scientifically speaking, made of metal, right? Any questions so far? No. I know what he's gonna say, but I'll let him look smart. So what's the perfect tool for the job? Ta-da! A metal detector. Raise your hand if you didn't see this coming from a mile away. Well, you want to give scientific investigation a go? Huh? Me? I've been using this thing for hours now. It gets pretty boring after a while. Why don't you give it a try? I don't know. Should I help Detective Gumshoe out or not? Of course. Come on, pal. It's good fun, I'm telling you. Alright then. I guess I'll give it a go. Like I said, this is the department's most advanced gadget. The absolute best. It's so sensitive, you could make it cry. It's so high-tech, you could skydive off of it. Oh, brother. So now I'm going to tell you how to use it. It's possible the real murder weapon is around here somewhere, right? Sure, that's what we're trying to find out. Right, so first let's turn the detector on. That's the sound of the metal detector's signal bouncing off something metallic. Next, touch the detector around and take a real good look in the courtyard, pal. Once you've hit something metallic, the check gauge will fill up. And when that happens, touch the gauge to give a really good look in the area. This thing picks up metallic objects that are hidden from sight, too. Take a good look at anything and everything that seems suspicious, okay, pal? The skis, but the ladder, the statue, obviously. The sled. That's odd. This sled's made of plastic. It says bikini number 1 on the side. Maybe there's something under it. Hey, what's this? A badge? Oh, I've been hunting high and low for that. It's yours, detective? That thing's priceless to a guy like me, pal. A cop can't be a cop without his badge. I'm sure glad I put that dime in there now. How did you manage to drop your badge here of all places? I know. I bet it happened this morning. I was playing around with the sled and... Stop right there. I don't need to hear any more. Well, The real mystery's solved. Wait, the little staff on the ground is ringing? This is Miss Dunim's staff, isn't it? Scientifically speaking, they're usually made of wood, but the detector's reacting to it. Yeah, but however you look at it, this thing's made of wood, alright. I don't bother investigating anything unless it looks like it might be metallic. Isn't the whole point of a metal detector to find metal where you can't see it? It's weird that this thing's causing a racket. Here, let me take a look at it. Hey, hands off! Examining evidence is the job for the... Oh, the top is coming off. Look what you've done. You damaged a really important piece of evidence. It's got a sword inside. That's a sword? Inside the staff? Is this... Could it be... the murder weapon? Bam. I had never guessed there'd be a sword concealed in the victim's staff. They call this kind of thing a sword cane, pal. This one's a real gem. The workmanship is really something else. Thank goodness it wasn't a cane sword, or else the victim would have stabbed her own foot. I officially give up on trying to figure out how Gumshoe's mind works. If the real scene of the crime was the inner temple garden, then why was the sword used to kill the victim found in the main hall courtyard? Hey Gumshoe, who knows about the hidden sword? No one. Even the police didn't know about it until I discovered it just now. Well, as they say, there's no team in Gumshoe. It doesn't look like there are any traces of blood on it. Then I guess this isn't the murder weapon, huh? No, no, no. I'm sure someone has just wiped it off after the murder. Yeah, of course! This thing's definitely the murder weapon. Oh, great job, pal. It's about the same length as the Shishishito, too. This must be the murder weapon. Okay, I'm gonna go run over to forensics. There's gotta be some traces of blood left, even if most of it has been wiped off. See you later, pal. Every case is gonna be airtight. Every case is gonna be airtight. Wait up, detective! Huh? What is it, pal? I'm a pretty busy guy right now, you know? You're gonna get that staff analyzed, right? Would you mind holding off for just a while? Huh? What are you talking about, pal? Please. Just until we find Maya. Maya? What's this got to do with her? I don't know, but I'm starting to get a really bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. Oh, how so? Look, Maya's trapped inside the sacred cavern right now, and well, we don't even know if she's okay or not. The more evidence and testimony I hear, the more uneasy I feel. You don't think. Maya's been... Please, detective! Just wait until we can get inside the sacred cavern. You're looking kind of iridian there. Okay, just stop it with that face, pal. One thing, though. This staff's secret trick, let's keep it between you and me, alright? If it gets out that we knew about it and didn't say anything, we're finished. I understand. This is just a regular run-of-the-mill staff, you got it? Okay, now take good care of it, pal. Thank you, detective. Don't worry. She'll be fine. Gumshoe. You know, there's a place at the base of the mountain that has some really good pasta. How about I take yous there when you find Maya? Huh, pal? Sure. Thanks. What a good dude. I can't help but wonder, though. What was Elise Dunim doing with a staff like this in the first place? Okay. Has a sword inside. No one knows except Detective Gumshoe and I. So now I have more information regarding... Oh my god. Everything is tying together so hard. I think I want to check back in with Edgeworth. Yeah. I want to check back in with Edgeworth. For one particular reason. Inner Temple Gate. Because the only thing we couldn't get out of Edgeworth was the related person in the case previously that he was suspicious of, but now that we have the fact that there's a twin sister... Hey, Edgeworth, did you know that Iris had a twin sister? What? A twin? You can't be serious. Sister Bikini told me, but the problem is she didn't know the name of this twin. There was nothing about Iris having a sister in the files I checked. Well, Iris was taken in by the temple when she was really young. Apparently her sister was raised by her father. A jeweler, I think? A jeweler? Right. I might just know who this twin sister of hers is. I had a feeling you'd say that. Let me guess. Her name is Dahlia Hawthorne, right? Yes, exactly. Please tell me what you know about her, Edgeworth. Please. It was my first court case, 6 years ago. I was a greenhorn, and due to my inexperience, the defendant died. You're talking about Terry Fowles, right? You know about that case? You're not the only one who noticed something about Iris and Dahlia Hawthorne. I checked one of Mia's old files from 6 years ago. Yes, Dahlia was a key witness in that case. Dahlia and Terry Fowles conspired together to stage a fake kidnapping 11 years ago. They stole a jewel worth $2 million from Dahlia's father, a jeweler. And 5 years after that, she murdered her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne, to keep her from talking. Her sister? Well, her stepsister, actually. They weren't blood related. Valerie was the only daughter of Dahlia's father's second wife. Oh, it's so complicated. Oh, and this is where she entered my life. The woman who tried to kill me. So after Terry Fowles died, what happened to Dahlia? Did you check that out? There is no need. Like I said, Dahlia isn't connected with this case. Why are you so sure about that? It's simple. Dahlia Hawthorne is dead. What? Well, her metabolic processes are a matter of interest only to historians, so to speak. What do you mean Dahlia Hawthorne is dead, Edgeworth? I only just discovered this, right, but I never knew about the murder case you were involved in during your college years. Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, thanks to the persistence of Mia Fey. Mia Fey! Mia Fey! At the time, Dahlia, it's like she was possessed by a demon or something. It's been 6 years since that guilty verdict was handed down, and her sentence was finally carried out. She was executed last month. Executed? I'm sure that's a bit of a shock for you, right? And for more reasons than one. But do you understand now? She can't possibly be connected with this case. She's dead. And once someone is dead, there is no way to revive them. There's no way to revive the dead? I wonder. It seems you're not aware of the other connection yet, Edgeworth. And what is that? It's about Iris and Dahlia Hawthorne's mother. What's their mother got to do with any of this? She's Morgan Fey, a spirit medium from a branch family of the Corain channeling technique. Did you say Corain channeling technique? Do you know something about it? Oh yes. I know it's connected with that fraudulent spirit medium. Fraudulent? I was involved in another nightmare 17 years ago. I was caught up in the middle of a murder investigation. The police didn't have any leads. They were stumped, and that's when they called her in. She was a very famous spirit medium and the master of her channeling school. But you know what happened? As a result of her efforts, an innocent man was accused of murder. She and her powers, they were all fraudulent. Edgeworth, Go to the police records room. It's all in there. All you have to do is check the DL6 incident case files and you'll know. Of course. How could I forget? Edgeworth was the victim in that case. Edgeworth, you'll understand someday, and then you'll see that the Crane channeling technique is real. Okay, well, we have Dahlia Hawthorne's profile now, so I think we can start breaking Iris's spirit locks. Suspension bridge, training hall, yes.
Take that!
The night of the crime, okay. I think it's time you told the truth about what you were doing that night. You said you were in your room at Hazakura Temple the entire time, but do you still claim that to be the truth? Yes, that's where I was. Iris, I believe you're innocent. That's why I want to believe what you're telling me too, but I can't. Because this person saw you somewhere else on the night of the murder. Bikini! I'm talking about Sister Bikini, of course. Sister Bikini? Her testimony in court today was very clear.
The night I was helping an acolyte with a training in the inner temple, but as you can see, my back likes to act up violently.
So I left her in charge and such. Sister Bikini didn't just see you, she spoke with you. You two talked about Maya's training that night, so you see, Iris. You were the one at the inner temple on the night of the murder. That's very impressive, Mr. Wright. The acolyte's actual training was due to start at 10 o'clock that night. I left the main hall early so I wouldn't be late. What time was that? Let me see. It takes about 20 minutes to walk between the main hall and the inner temple. So I would have left at about 9:40 p.m., I think. I'm sorry, Iris, but lying just doesn't suit you. Huh? Now, you say you left the main hall at 9:40, but what you say doesn't add up with this. You yourself testified to the contrary, don't you remember? You said you rang the lights out bell at 10 o'clock that night. Plus, only moments before you rang the bell, you were seen at the main hall by the most reliable witness I have. Who's that? Me. Mr. Wright. We even spoke a little that evening. That's when you gave me this. Surely you haven't forgotten. No, that's right. I remember. And that brings us to another puzzling fact, Iris. At 10 o'clock on the night of the murder, you were seen in 2 different places at the same time. It's time you told me exactly what's been going on, Iris. So far, I've managed to prove 2 things. First, on the night of the incident, you were at the Inner Temple. And second, at the exact same time, you were ringing the bell at Hazakura Temple. There's only one possible explanation for this apparent impossibility. There were 2 of you. On the night of the incident, you were seen in 2 different places at the same time, which means there must have been 2 of you. I can't think of any other explanation, Iris. But that's crazy! How could that be? There's only 1 of me. It's impossible. Impossible? I wonder. The way you're trembling certainly seems to suggest otherwise. You're seriously trying to suggest that there's more than 1 of me? Then show me the evidence! Show me something that proves there's more than 1 of me! Twin sister! I have a firm grasp of the situation now, Iris. You have a sister, don't you? A twin sister, perhaps. That's right. Dahlia Hawthorne. A woman I knew only too well. I had no idea you knew of her. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. But she's no longer... Yes, I know. Her sentence was carried out recently, wasn't it? I'm sorry. Thank you. There's no need to explain now, is there, Iris? This second you who was here at the temple on the night of the murder. It was your twin sister, Dahlia Hawthorne. But you just said it yourself a second ago! My sister's dead! Have you forgotten that? Have you forgotten this, Iris? This is a channeling dojo. A channeling ground of the Karain channeling technique. That night, someone channeled Dahlia's spirit, and you knew about it. And that's the secret you've been trying to hide from me. Ah! Nice. I was in my room in the main hall that night. As soon as I heard that I had been spotted at the Inner Temple, I knew it was my sister, Dahlia, the other half of me who passed away last month. Just as I suspected, the Iris that Sister Bikini saw at the Inner Temple on the night of the murder, it was Dahlia Hawthorne. Why didn't you tell me this before? Because my sister always does the right thing. Excuse me? And because I mustn't get in the way of what she's trying to do. I already betrayed her once before. I can't do it again. You betrayed her? What do you mean? That's why I have to accept that I may be found guilty. It's the only way. What is she talking about? You know about it, don't you, Mr. Wright? About the fake kidnapping that took place here on Eagle Mountain 11 years ago? That was the start of it all. It twisted her entire destiny. She started to commit crime after crime, and in the end, she lost her life. It's all because I betrayed her. How did you betray her, Iris? It was no coincidence that Eagle Mountain is where the exchange was to take place. After all, I helped plan the whole thing. What? But I got scared, so I ran away. What are you talking about? Why would you help her? Stealing $2 million from your own father? That's awful! But I promised. I promised that I'd help. And she didn't do it for the money. Huh? It was revenge on our father. Revenge? What do you mean by revenge? He was a hideous man. He threw our mother away and sent her to hell. Her mother? She must be talking about Morgan Fay. Our mother was the eldest daughter of the main branch of the Fay family. The main family had a lot of influence in many business and political circles at the time. As the eldest daughter, our mother was set to inherit all of that as the next master. That's the reason our father married our mother in the first place. For power. But his plan backfired, because our mother's sister took it all from her. She took over as the master of Karain. That would be Misty Fay, Maya's mother. But before long, the credibility of the Karain tradition hit rock bottom. The new master, Mystic Misty Fay, made a terrible mistake. It was during the investigation of the DL6 incident. After that happened, our father took me and my twin sister away, leaving our mother and our home behind. He hated the place. He said it was a hick dive and that he had no reason to stay there. And that's when you came here to Hazakura Temple? Yes. The woman my father took as his next wife already had a daughter, Valerie. I had no place in his new family, you see. Oh. And I haven't seen my mother once since then, having the master's seat stolen from her and being rejected by her own family. I've heard she's been very battered, spiritually and emotionally. I think I'm finally beginning to see how the pieces fit together.
I have asked her everything I can in my capacity as prosecutor. This incident, everything related to it goes back to history of the Fey clan.
That's what it looks like. Iris, there's just one more thing I want you to tell me. What is it? During the incident in which your sister, Dahlia Hawthorne, poisoned a lawyer, she began relations with a certain college student in order to hide the evidence. That college student, have you heard anything about him? Well, I did hear one thing. She said she hated his guts. I see. Thank you for your help. You're welcome.
Hurry up, Phoenix Wright! There is still much more to investigate.
Leave these locks to me. I'll open them for you, I promise. Thank you. I suppose I'd better continue my investigation. There's still one giant secret left to unlock. Pearl's Psych Lock. And the lawyer she killed was obviously Godot. Wrong place. Or at the time, I forget what his name was before he took the name of Godot. So why is Godot... How did Godot manage to live, is my question. Heavenly Hall. Alright, Pearls. Look at that. They really did make a fire right in front of the shack.
Oh, Mr. Nick!
Heh, you're too late, Nick. If you came here for one of our potatoes, we already polished them off. I think I've pretty much got all the evidence I need. Now I just need to find out what Pearls is hiding. I think it's just the psych lock, right? Yeah. The night of the crime. After dinner on the night of the murder, you were supposed to be in Elise Dunim's room reading a book together, correct?
Yes! I was so happy when she invited me, but I didn't go in the end.
You didn't go?
No, there was somewhere else I had to go instead. I was so worried. I had to go. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was so nervous.
So Pearls never went to Miss Dunim's room because she was too worried about something or someone else? Pearls. On the night of the murder, you went to this place, didn't you? You went here, didn't you, Pearls? Looks like she's still not gonna open up to me. This is where you went because you were so worried, right? Then the next question is, who or what were you worried about? Now, I'm going to take a guess, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, okay?
You mean you know?
If I'm right, you'll tell me the whole truth?
Okay.
You went to this place for one very simple reason, and that is... right here. It's obvious what you were so worried about, Pearls. It was Maya, wasn't it?
Oh!
You knew the training Maya was undertaking was dangerous. After all, it was the special course.
I signed up for your special course.
Well, my, quite brave of you considering how cold it is. Young people can be so reckless with their health. Don't blame me if you become one with those you channel.
Sister Bikini scared you with what she said, didn't she? And because it was you who introduced Hazakura Temple to Maya in the first place, you felt responsible, didn't you?
Thinking about what could happen to Mystic Maya made me more and more worried. I couldn't sit still at all. That's why I decided to go and find out how she was doing at the Inner Temple.
And we're clear now that you went to the Inner Temple that night, Pearls. What's not clear is what happened after that. About what time was it when you headed over to the Inner Temple?
It was probably around 9:30 when I left the main hall. I heard the real training was supposed to start at 10. I wanted to get there before it started, but there was so much snow I didn't get there until after 10 o'clock.
Until after 10? How did you know what time it was?
Because I heard the bell ringing for lights out.
She heard the lights out bell? Hazakura Temple's bell is pretty small though, isn't it? You must have had really good hearing.
I was really trying to pick up the sound of the bell, that's all. I didn't want to miss it. That would have been terrible.
She was trying to hear the bell? Tell me, Pearls, why were you so worried about hearing the bell?
What? Oh,
I think I know why. The reason you were so worried about that bell was because of this. I want to reread the burnt letter. Be careful. Once night falls, should be there. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Leave everything up to her. Her name is blank. She is our ally. The whole something. Here is a picture of her. Use it when you channel her. I know you can do it. Once this is... burn the... Also, not tell anyone about this letter. Gravely roast the master in the fires of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition. You were given some instructions to follow that night, weren't you? I presume you recognize these pieces of paper.
Oh! Where did you...
In the incinerator at the Inner Temple. Pearls. You were following the instructions in this letter that night, weren't you? That's why you couldn't afford to miss the sound of the lights out bell.
I'm speechless, Mr. Nick. You're amazing.
These instructions that were found in the incinerator. I believe they were written for you, Pearls.
For me, no.
As you can see, a large portion has been burnt, but the last section is still fairly legible. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Who was it, Pearls? Whose spirit were you supposed to be channeling? Taking into account the author of the note, their purpose for writing it, whose spirit would Pearls have been trying to channel? Don't overthink it, Phoenix. It's pretty obvious who Pearls was supposed to channel. The person that you were trying to channel that night, Pearls, it was right here. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? That's the name that was in the letter. It's just as I suspected. It wasn't Iris who Sister Bikini met at the Inner Temple that night. It was Dahlia Hawthorne. Do you know anything about her, Pearls? Do you know what kind of a woman Dahlia Hawthorne was?
No. I've never heard of anyone by that name before reading those instructions.
I thought so. Pearls doesn't have a clue. She doesn't know that Dahlia is her sister. About the instructions in the letter I found, Pearls. Who wrote them? Whoever it was asked you to channel the spirit of someone you had never heard of. You must have quite a lot of respect for them. After all, you followed their instructions without question. So here's my next question. Who wrote this set of instructions for you to follow? Taking the letter's final statement into account, gravely roast the master in the fires of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition. And looking at the profiles I have, there's a couple options. Number one, Iris, but I don't think it was her because I don't think she cares as much about vengeance as others in this possible list. The master, which is obviously not the one, she wouldn't want herself killed. But Morgan Fay could have sent the letter. But she's in solitary confinement, which is strange. But this seems like instructions from Morgan Fay. She's the only one in the profile list who would have been able to send this letter to Pearls. Because who else here knew about Pearls having channeling powers as strong as the head family? No one other than Morgan. Pearls, I have to wonder about something. You didn't have any idea what these instructions meant, did you? But you followed them to the letter regardless. Why? Because it was your own mother who asked you, that's why.
How did you?
I figured it out. The person who wrote you this letter was your own mother, Morgan Fay. Wah! Alright, Pearls, it's time you started telling me the truth. Mr. Nick, Why is she holding back from me? I don't like this.
Don't underestimate me, just because I'm a child.
Huh?
If you're trying to say I followed these instructions, I'd like to see some proof.
What?
Because I don't think that you have any.
She'd say anything rather than admit to carrying out those instructions. I guess I'll have to produce some more evidence then. One more thing should do it. Alright, Pearls. We both know someone carried out these instructions on the night of the murder, but you're right. There's no evidence that proves it was you.
I knew it.
However, I do know that whoever did it was a child.
Huh? How do you know that?
It couldn't have been an adult. No adult would have made a simple mistake like that.
A simple mistake?
What do you mean? I'm pretty sure you thought you were carefully following the instructions you'd been given, but you misunderstood some of the words. And this evidence proves it. Misunderstood some of the words? Hold on. Let's read it again. Be careful. Once night falls, should be there. As soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. Leave everything up to her. Her name is Dahlia Hawthorne, presumably. She is our ally. The whole something. Here's a picture of her. Use it to channel her. I know you can do it. Once this is blank, burn the blank. Also, make not blank. Tell anyone about this letter. Gravely roast the master in the fire of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition. Gravely roast the master. Okay, hold on. I think it's clicking, and that's really funny. Gravely roast the master, but she doused the master's scroll in gravely from the roast that they ate that night. It was you who splattered gravy on the hanging scroll, wasn't it?
What? Why would I do something like that?
Do you remember what was written in the letter? Gravely roast the master in the fires of Hades and bring our vengeance to fruition. But you didn't know how to read those words gravely and roast among the others.
How do you know that?
Remember the conversation you had with Miss Dunim on the night of the murder? Perhaps we can read some books together.
Really? I'd love to, but
I'm not very good at reading. Well then, would you like to practice reading with me?
Miss Elise?
So for example, how do you read this? It says, gravely. That's kind of a tough word. Oh, she was pointing out the notes? Sure, Miss Dunim taught you how to read gravely and roast, but what she didn't teach you is what they meant. Gravely sounded like gravy to me, and that's the only roast I could think of was food. And that's why you did it. That's why you covered the picture of the master in gravy from the night's pot roast. To be honest, I did think it was a bit strange. I guess I really did get the wrong idea. Just a tiny bit. I really am useless. I didn't even manage to burn the letter properly as my mother had asked of me. Such a simple thing, and I couldn't even do it right. After dinner that night, I did go to the inner temple with a pot full of leftover gravy. The gravy? I saw the picture on the hanging scroll near the sacred cavern. I was sure it was Master of Karain, like it said in the letter. I see. And then? Well, it was already way past 10 when I got there because of all the snow. So I went to the inner temple guest area. The guest area? Yeah, I thought I could wait there until the training was over. Why didn't you just go to the training hall? Because Mystic Maya's main training had already started and I couldn't interrupt it. So I just stayed where I was and prayed for her to get through it. Then Pearls, did you fall asleep? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I just couldn't help it. Hey, don't worry about it, Pearl. Who cares if you fell asleep? I fell asleep waiting for Iris too. It happens. Anyway, then you found yourself trapped at the inner temple? Yes. When I woke up, it was morning. I tried not to cry, but Dusky Bridge wasn't there anymore, and there was no one in the training hall. I thought everyone had left me because I overslept. I threw the letter in the incinerator, and then I heated up the leftover gravy and let off some steam by chucking the gravy on the scroll while you cried? It must have been pretty scary for you, Pearl. I know what it's like. Nick used to leave me behind when I fell asleep at school, too. Don't equate something so trivial with her experience, Larry. It was written right here in my mother's letter. It said, as soon as you hear the lights out bell, you must channel her spirit. I was on my way over to the inner temple when I heard the bell ring. So you channeled Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit? No. I tried, but I couldn't do it. You couldn't do it? I never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. I tried and I tried and I tried. Yesterday, this morning, the whole time, but I just couldn't do it. Don't let your guard down, Pearl. It'll all work out. If you want, I'll come flying through the sky for you. Whoosh, just like that. So she never managed to channel the spirit. Is that why you think your spiritual powers are gone? Yes, I don't know what to do. Isn't there any other explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit? I suppose there's one other possibility. It's not very likely, though. Could you please tell me what that is anyway? It could have happened if someone else was already channeling the same spirit. Someone else? What do you mean? Well, there's only one of each spirit, right? Yep, it's like dating a girl, Nick. You can't see a hot chick if she's already taken. Then that would mean on the night of the murder, someone else channeled her spirit before Pearls could. Someone else channeled the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a failure. I couldn't even grant my mother's final wish. Her final wish? Yes, this letter. This is my last wish, she said. So make sure you follow the instructions carefully. This letter. I definitely need to find out more about it. My mother has gone to a place called a penitentiary. Yeah, I know, Pearls. I visit her every month, and last month she told me... The time we've been waiting for has come, Pearl. There's something I need you to do for me. I hid a letter for you at our home before they brought me here. I want you to read it, and to do exactly what it says. It's for the good of the Fae clan, my angel. You'll be doing a great thing. Now listen carefully, and I will tell you where the letter's hidden. My mother is always nice to me. I love her very much. Yeah, moms will do anything for the kids, right? She said it was for the sake of the Fae clan, so I knew I had to help her. I mean, Mystic Maya's part of the Fae clan, so it had to be good for her too. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Nick? Ah, you have no idea, Pearls. There was a picture with the letter too. A picture? Of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Usually a picture's enough to channel someone's spirit, but this time... Perhaps pretty weird, huh? Like Larry knows anything about this stuff. There's something that was strange about my mother's letter. The seal on it was broken. If someone had already opened it once before. Excuse me. That sure is pretty strange. Someone had opened it already? Burnt letter updated in the court record, so you weren't the first one. Thanks, Pearls. You really helped me out. You're very welcome. My mother is watching over us, so I'm sure Mystic Maya will be alright. Look at that innocent smile on her face. What am I supposed to say to her?
Finally figured it out, have you, Trey? You finally realized how terrible of a crime being painfully obvious is.
Godot!
The entrance to the sacred cavern looks like a freaking puzzle workshop.
I guess he's talking about Iris and the lock-breaking effort.
But it's all a waste of time.
Why do you say that?
Because Maya Fey isn't coming back.
What? You don't know what you're talking about. How can you say something like that?
It was your job to protect her, Trite. Just like it was your job to protect Mia Fey. Two sisters caught up in the worst circumstances.
I realize that, but...
And you were the only one who was by their sides. You were the only one who could have saved them.
But I didn't know anything about what was going on.
What did I just say, Trite? Being oblivious is a heinous crime in itself. Tomorrow. We'll settle everything in court tomorrow. Once and for all.
Mr. Nick? Is what that man said true? It'll be alright, Pearls. I'm sure Maya's alive. You'll see for yourself tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. I know I can trust you, Mr. Nick. I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. My dear Pearl, you've done so well, my child. My Pearl. It's better that you don't know. I knew this day would come for you. The blood of the main family is no more. Now you are to take the place at the head of the Fae clan. My last great wish. It seems I was just in time. To be continued. I feel like proving the innocence or guilt of Iris doesn't mean shit anymore. It's all just about getting to the bottom of all this Karain nonsense. I'm so excited. Oh my god. Oh my god.